Welcome to Veranda IAS. In this LU, we are going to cover measures to fight climate change. So, in this we will see various technology, various method to fight against climate change. Now, why we need to fight against climate change? We have seen in the last two LUs that it has its disastrous effect. We have seen that when there is a global warming, there will be a negative impact. We have seen in terms of, we have seen that if climate change, we have seen if global warming, then we have seen various impact in the form of extreme climatic events, in the form of flood, in the form of drought. Then we have seen melting of ice caps, glaciers, and when this is happening, definitely increase in sea level. Increase in sea level further leading to submergence of coastal ecosystem, submergence of many countries, submergence of coastal infrastructure in the form of port, industries, defense system. Then all these leading to food security problem. Food security problem. Also, we have seen deterioration of carbon sink. Then we have seen how it will increase in greenhouse gases, will have all these impact. Then we have also seen change in sea level. If it is increasing, also we have seen coastal submergence, there are many countries which are island countries, they will submerge. If there is a sea level fall, we have seen coral reef dying, affecting the life of the people. Even the zones near to the coastal zone where people live and dependent on sea for various regions are badly affected. So there are various negative consequences of climate change. So we need to bring some measures, we need to adopt certain measures to fight against this climate change. In this, we have these three major strategies. First, to bring clean coal technology. Why we are talking about coal? Coal, what is coal? Fossil fuel. Fossil fuel, again coal were like before it was extracted, they were acting as carbon sink, means carbon was absorbed in that element. We have trapped carbon, but what happened when we extracted through mining and after say burning, this coal released, this carbon released into the environment. So what we need to do? We need to bring alternate clean coal technology, means either we need to bring alternate or we need to bring technology to make it more efficient. Then carbon capture and storage. It means we need to devise mechanism so that more carbon can be captured, more carbon sink can be created. So what we will do here, through technology we will put carbon and can be stored. Then our third strategy is to create more carbon sink. We have seen in intended nationally determined contribution that we are saying that we will create a carbon sink of 2.5 to 3 billion tons of carbon sink. So one by one we are going to study this in detail. Now let's see clean coal technology. Now tell me one thing, which is the major constituent of greenhouse gases? We have seen the principal greenhouse gases emitted during coal combustion are carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide. So coal generally used in thermal power plant to generate electricity. We have also seen coal is being used in various industries. So, but coal here, what they are emitting? They are emitting carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide, and here both are greenhouse gases. So what we have to bring technology to reduce its negative impact. So you can see here, first what we can do, reduce the coal consumption. So for that we have seen, we have brought solar energy, solar cooker. We are focusing too much on sunlight. Our focus is on development of renewable energy, so that we don't need coal to produce electricity. So reducing coal consumption. Second is reducing coal non-greenhouse gas emission. Means our focus is also through technology. If we can reduce the greenhouse gas emission into our atmosphere through technology, then also greenhouse gases will not be released into the environment when coal will be burnt. Third is again this carbon capture and storage we will discuss. So see here what we are trying to do. Here coal, what we are putting into boiler, and here through steam, here it is going into generator. Also we are putting water. Now the pollutants, here it is passing through technology, through these technologies, and what it has been found that these pollutants, SO2, NOx, particulate matter, these will be reduced if we follow these technology. So even we burning coal, these particulate matters, this SO2, NO2, emission will reduced. Why? Because we have a set of technology. But the problem is these technologies are costly, expensive in developing world, in India, in least developed countries, where they do not have such research, they do not have such technology, and what they are dependent on these fossil fuels, these coal to produce energy. And we know that any country's development depend on how much energy consumption is there, because energy consumption is a indicator of development. And since these countries, these developing nations, least developed nations, they do not have research, so what they are doing? They are still using coal, traditional way of burning, and traditional way of burning resulting into emission of carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide. It means that these gases is increasing, accelerating the greenhouse gases, accelerating the greenhouse effect. And what is the meaning of greenhouse effect? Increasing the temperature of Earth, which means climate change, which has again adverse negative consequences. So, what it's saying, that if we are going to use this clean coal technology, apart from CO2 and CO, carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxides, sulfur oxides, which cause acid rain, which released in our environment during the burning of coal, they will be also reduced. So, with the help of clean, the word clean itself suggests that the word, what it suggests? That reduction in release of CO2, CO, nitrogen oxides, SOx, particulate PM2.5, PM10. Clear? So, we have seen that with the help of clean technology, we can reduce these gases. Now, how we are going to do that? So, there are different technologies. First, coal washing. If we do coal washing, means if we are removing the impurities, then less CO2 and CO2 carbon monoxide will release into atmosphere. Electrostatic precipitators, if we are using this tool technology, again this will reduce all what I have mentioned in last slide, CO2, CO, NOx, SOx, PM2.5, PM10, all are reduced. Gasification avoids coal altogether, means if we convert these matter into gasification, then it reduces, because here again gas is used as energy. So, gasification avoids burning coal altogether. Flue gas desulfurization system, it means if we are using this system, this will reduce sulfur from going into the atmosphere. It will reduce its emission. Clear? So, what we have seen? Coal washing, electrostatic precipitators, gasification, flue gas desulfurization systems. This will reduce CO2, carbon monoxide, NOx, SOx, PM2.5, PM10, and further here this temperature can be controlled. Clear? Now, carbon capture and here CCS. What is the meaning of this CCS? If we go on the very first slide, CCS, carbon capture and storage. This is the second method, second way through which we can reduce the release of carbon into the atmosphere. So, as the name suggests, first is capture and then storage. So, what it is saying, it is a technique, it is a method of first, if carbon dioxide is releasing into the atmosphere, through technology capture it and then store it. Clear? Now, you can see this diagram. So, what is happening? Carbon captured at oil sands facility of, what is happening? When carbon is being released, here burning is taking place. Through technology, what we have done? we have captured the carbon, and through here we have injected into ocean, we have injected into land, ground, in coal beds very deep through pipes, depleted oil reservoirs. There what we are doing, we are capturing this carbon. Here salt caverns means deep inside the earth. So first we are capturing and then we are storing into ocean, storing into coal beds, storing into depleted oil reservoir, depleted into these caverns. So it is carbon capture and carbon storage. So it says it is a technique for capturing and storing CO2 from stationary sources such as power plants. And where they are storing? Geological and oceanic storage. We know when we read about oceanic acidification that ocean is the largest carbon sink of ocean is the largest carbon sink. What we have also seen that because of this, what I was telling you, oceanic acidification, it has lower pH slightly, perhaps resulting into, this is oceanic acidification, and this is causing harming marine environment, harming marine animals, harming marine ecosystem. Clear? Now we will see carbon sink and carbon sequestration. Now what we have seen in last carbon capture and carbon storage, that geological formation, this marine ocean was the sink, was used where to store carbon. Now here in carbon sequestration and carbon sink, first let us understand what is the meaning of sequestration. So simply it says the process of carbon sinks removing CO2 from the atmosphere. So what is happening? Sequestration means it is a removal of carbon from the atmosphere by the sinks, carbon sinks, example ocean. And it is not a short term process, it is a long term process, and it is a long term storage of CO2. In order to take preventive measures in order to fight climate change. So carbon sequestration is the process of carbon sinks. These carbon sinks are removing CO2 from the atmosphere, and it is a long-term storage of CO2. Clear? We have already know that ocean is the largest carbon sink, and here we see the majority of carbon is locked up in the ocean. But if more carbon will be there, same thing will result into oceanic acidification, affecting the marine organism. Now CO2 fertilization. Now the word as suggests fertilization means if this CO2 concentration rise, what is going to happen? CO2 photosynthesis, stimulating photosynthesis and development of the plant. So what does it mean? That we have seen that more CO2 fertilization, more CO2 concentration, more CO2 rise, it will accelerate the process of photosynthesis, resulting into the development of plant. That's what it's saying. The CO2 concentration rising, resulting into stimulating, accelerating photosynthesis, resulting into the plant development. That's what it's saying. CO2 fertilization accounts for about 70% of the overall greening impact. So if this fertilization, if we will be able to do what is going to happen? More photosynthesis, more usage of carbon, more release of oxygen, resulting into greening of environment, means it will have a positive impact, and in that way we can fight the climate change. So, here what we studied, first we saw fight against climate change. What we saw? We saw first that clean coal technology. Under clean coal technology, what we saw? Coal washing, electrostatic precipitator, then we have seen gasification, and then we have seen desulfurization. So, through that what we have seen? Reduction in CO2, CO, NOx, SOx, PM 2.5, PM 10. Then we saw carbon capture and storage. So, what we have seen, that first through technology it is captured and then stored. Capture through technology. Example was power plant. Then we saw carbon sequestration and carbon sink. Here again removal of carbon from atmosphere by whom? Carbon sink. So, we understood these in detail, and these are the important tools. Also, we saw carbon fertilization, where with the help of technology what we can accelerate the growth of, accelerate the photosynthesis, resulting into growth of more plants, resulting into absorption of carbon dioxide and release of oxygen, thus helping in fight against climate change. So, in this we have understood various technologies, and UPSC have asked and they will ask from this part. So, please be aware. With this, I end this LU here. Thank you.